Let's get it. We're live. We are live here on this amazing Tuesday night. Welcome back to the Late Night Show with your boy, Dr. Kojo. We're checking in live tonight, and we're talking about AuDHD and 3 reasons why you're inconsistent. So that's what we're talking about tonight. That's what our topic is. Go ahead and use the comment section to let me know where you're checking in from so I can see who's here. I want to see who's here. I just want to let y'all know that we're streaming live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, both my YouTube pages, The Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo, and also the official Dr. Kojo Sarfro YouTube page. And we're also streaming live on Twitch. And we're also streaming, we're not streaming on X. We're also streaming live on TikTok. So those are the platforms where we are streaming from. And that is our topic for tonight. So go ahead and use the comment section to let me know where you're checking in from, and let's get the show underway. We have Mindy checking in from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Mindy, how are you? It's good to have you here on the live stream tonight, and also on YouTube. I think if you're watching from YouTube, the live stream is coming to you in a vertical presentation, which is really cool. That's really cool for me because the majority of people are used to seeing me vertically, not horizontally. So I just want to say that. All right. Leilani from New York City. Leilani, what's going on? How are you? Then we have Musa checking in from Boston, Massachusetts. Okay. We have the year I became checking in from New Jersey on TikTok. Julia checking in from Texas. Julia, how are you? People checking in from all over. Sam, how are you? Sam Harris. We have Christy Crab checking in from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, so we have New Mexico in the house. We have Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, New York City. We have MO, which is Missouri. We have Boston, Massachusetts. We have Houston in the house on TikTok, New Jersey, Baker City, Oregon. So people are all over. People are checking in from all over the place. Flint, Michigan as well. Somebody else from Michigan on TikTok. Random X from Louisiana. All right, so people are checking in from all over, and I appreciate your attention. I appreciate your support. Without you all, I wouldn't have a platform to share my thoughts. And having all of us here with our combined neurospicy tendencies is what makes this environment what it is. This environment is not only a safe space, but a fun space where we can be exactly who we are without pretending. All the pretending and the fronting, and that's for your real life. But over here, we're supposed to be who we want to be. Milwaukee, Wisconsin in the house. Edmonton, Alberta in the house. Slovenia in the house. Okay. I think that's where Luka Doncic is from. And we appreciate having him on the Lakers. Krusty Krab, I am having a good night. Awesome. Maine in the house. Okay, Maine. We don't get a lot of folks from Maine. Utah. People checking in from all over. And Lucas from Slovenia. Awesome. Some more people filing in. Oregon. Canada. Come through across the Detroit River. New Mexico. Oklahoma. Mexico. Mississippi. We got Jacksonville, Florida on TikTok. North Idaho, Kita. Newport Beach, California. Louisiana. Georgia. Okay, people checking in from all over for us to talk about AuDHD. We're talking about AuDHD, which is autism and ADHD combined at the same time, because you can have both. People don't know that you can have both. You can have both. And a lot of people have both. And a lot of people are just diagnosed with one or the other. But there's some folks out here, some undiagnosed amongst us, and that's what we're going to be talking about tonight as I prepare my list here. All right. Let's get cracking. I'm a super being with both. Okay. So yeah, actually, let's do a quick poll here and let's see who we have here in the chat. I want to know who I'm talking to. So Leilani is a super being in New York City who has autism and ADHD. That's a heck of a city to have autism and ADHD in. It's a lot of sensory input from outside when you live in New York City. Houston, Texas, autism and ADHD present and accounted for. So, Sean, I will be at the All Jokes Aside Comedy Club in Houston, Texas on April the 26th at 8 o'clock. And I'm looking for my people. And Sean, you fit the description of my people. Autism and ADHD. Yeah, those are my people. Those are my people. That's my safe space. So I'm looking for my folks. I'm looking for my folks. Muna, I'm weak. Busy on TikTok, autism and ADHD. Okay. Autism and ADHD. Been diagnosed ADHD, but I bet I have both. Elliot, I'm in that same category with you. Dallas Fort Worth in the house. Sean, hey, love of the show to Sean. Yay. Love of the show to Sean. Sean said he's planning on bringing a crew to the show in Houston on April the 26th. And if you didn't see the video that I posted today on TikTok, I posted a video where I said that if you have friends who have ADHD and or autism, and you have a lot of friends who have ADHD and autism, there's a good chance that you also have ADHD and or autism, because neurodivergent people roll in packs. So if you have friends who are neurospicy, guess what? There's a good chance that you are also neurospicy. So if Sean has autism and ADHD, I bet you that Sean's friends have a little neurospicy tendencies within themselves as well. So those are my people. Those are my people. Sean, I'm looking forward to seeing y'all in Houston, Texas on the 26th of April. Cat in the hat. Okay, Maggie, autism and ADHD and bipolar. Which, Maggie, welcome to the chat. People don't know that you can have all three. People say it's autism, ADHD, or bipolar. You can have all three. 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 Tampa in the house. Becca diagnosed ADHD. I'm sure I have both. Brina says my son had autism and ADHD. He had, as in past tense. What does he have now? He had. What do you mean he had autism and ADHD? Check your local fire department or EMS. I agree with this. Certain jobs lend themselves to neurodivergence. Fire department, EMS, hospital employees, if you work in the ER or if you work in the ICU, people who work at the psych hospital, like I'm talking to people like me, people that can handle chaotic environments. That's me. A fight breaks out at the psych hospital. I can handle it. I can de-escalate everybody in there without medications. I don't need Haldol and Benadryl and Ativan to de-escalate a situation at the psych hospital. I can talk people off a ledge. I can talk people down, because chaotic situations is where I excel. But the small things like cleaning my house or doing the laundry, washing the dishes. I remember there's been times that I've thrown away spoons because I didn't want to wash them. Think about how ridiculous that is. Throwing away a spoon because you didn't want to get your hand wet. Throwing away a good spoon because I thought it was easier to discard it than to run my hands underneath the water. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? That's crazy. Why do we? So there's a couple of people who do that as well. You would throw away a spoon as opposed to washing it. Okay, good. Makeup by Farrah says, yes, I thought it was just me. Danny once threw away a whole Christmas tree on TikTok. Oh my goodness. The small things are difficult. Elliot, former ICU unit clerk. Okay, see? ICU nurse right here. Yep, you see. ADHD, easily overstimulated / depressed. Okay. Hope you're feeling a little bit better on this live stream. I'm AuDHD and 2 of my children are too. Okay. Sarah, I'm feeling great this evening. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to see that you're smiling. Oh, throwing away towels. I have thrown away towels because I didn't want to wash it. Why do we do this? Why do we do this? Throwing away pans. Now some pans are just so difficult to wash. If you don't wash the pan immediately, you may as well just discard it. Like you're looking at the pan and you're like, all right, I already put water in it and I'm trying to wash. I just throw it away. I will throw it away. I will throw it away. I'm seeking a diagnosis of AuDHD. Annette, you could be my people. You could be my people. Angela says, I have AuDHD. My husband is ADHD. ICU RN, now triage RN. My husband engineer throws away socks. Look, you can buy more socks. I know it could be a waste of money, but you could just buy more socks. You can just buy more socks. And one thing I'll do is, I don't know if y'all have ever done this. I'll take food with me on the go and I'll leave the food in the car, right? Or like you finish eating, so the bowl is in the car, like you ate cereal and I got a bowl, right? And I got the spoon there. So the bowl and the spoon, like I'm done eating the cereal or rice or whatever. And instead of taking it back home, I'm like, all right, I'm already here at the gas station pumping gas. I may as well just discard it and I'll just buy some more silverware. I'll just buy some more silverware, but now I forget to buy silverware. So I go home and I don't have what I need. So now I'm trying to eat cereal, but I don't have enough spoons. This is why I buy disposable, plastic silverware, because I don't like doing dishes. So I'll have, cups and plates and spoons and knives and forks, but I'll still get me disposable, plastic silverware, because I just don't want to have to deal with doing the dishes. Anything to avoid the dishes. Anything to avoid the dishes. Anything to avoid dishes. Jeannie, you say present in the moment when you're engaged. So right now I'm on this live stream. Everybody who's watching this live stream, the 62 folks watching on TikTok, the 108 people watching on the other platforms, I'm pretty sure we're in the moment right now because we chose to click this live stream, so we're engaged. We're in the moment. So we're in the moment. We're quite engaged here. But when you're doing something that you don't like doing, it's harder to pay attention. So being present is sometimes a prerequisite to success. So if we can change our state and how we feel, we can make it easier for ourselves to get things done and to be in the present moment. I thought I was the only one. I thought that was just us and felt super lazy and guilty about plastic cutlery. No, look, there's no shame in using plastic cutlery because we don't want to do the dishes. Like we can start a whole support group for people who don't want to do the dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. I hate doing the dishes. I'm afraid of doing the dishes. I don't want to do the dishes. Put the pound in the trash can. Gucci do the dishes. I don't like the dishes. I love laundry. Oh, okay. I said no neurodivergent ever. I love laundry and filling the dishwasher, but struggle with. Okay. We can make way for people who like the laundry. Okay. Does that mean you like doing, you like folding the clothes as well? Because that's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Is the label on your, who's your roommate? Is the label on your screen actually your wallpaper? The label on this screen, wallpaper. I'm not exactly sure what you mean, but the label on the screen is coming from the StreamYard setup that I have. I like smelling the laundry. I do. I like smelling it, and I like holding it in my hands, but I don't like putting it away. I don't like folding the clothes. Oh, that right there. Oh yeah, it's a light on the wall. It is a light on the wall. It's a light on the wall. Love your content. Felt myself resonating with a lot of it. Well, you could be neurodivergent. You could be neurodivergent. And I'm seeing on TikTok, somebody says, let me see, got a whole basket of clean laundry. At least it's clean. My question is, but do you like folding clothes? No, I don't. Stephanie says, undiagnosed AuDHD, my rabbit hole for the past few months at 42. Appreciate your content so much. Stephanie, my pleasure. My pleasure. And when you understand yourself, you'll stop hating yourself. Not to say that you hate yourself, but you'll be easier on yourself, and you realize that you are somebody that does better in certain conditions. So we're just gonna create an environment where we can succeed. Don't be scared. All right, and I have 3 reasons as to why you could be inconsistent tonight when we're talking about autism and ADHD. I have 3 reasons why you're inconsistent. And it's important to understand this, because if you don't understand this, you might tell yourself that you are somebody who is not capable of being consistent. If anything, you are consistent because you're consistently inconsistent. So if you're consistently inconsistent, then you're being consistent at being inconsistent. So you are consistent. You're just not consistent in the way that you would want to be consistent. I hope I'm not confusing y'all, because I feel like I'm talking in circles here. Does that make sense? You're consistently inconsistent. So that means that you're consistent. You're just not consistent in the way that you think you should be consistent, right? So you will have some sort of a pattern that you follow. It's just that you don't do things the way that you think you should do things. And it is confusing, but some people are saying it makes perfect sense. All right, okay, gotcha. It's confusing to some, but it makes perfect sense to others. So right here, Susan says, I feel like I'm consistently a disaster area. So this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. You consistently feel as if you're not getting things done, but you are getting things done, just not all the time. Sometimes you do get things done, but not all the time. So you're consistently inconsistent. So I think people get it. And it is a tongue twister. It is a tongue twister. So consistently inconsistent. So for the people who have autism and ADHD, there's 3 reasons as to why I feel like you can have this internal battle within yourself. All right? Internal battle within yourself. And the first one right here, I got 3 reasons. And I like the number 3. I really like even numbers more. I don't really like odd numbers. I think that's something that's odd about me. I don't like odd numbers. I like for things to be even. Like, I want it to match. I'm the type of person that growing up, I would, if I'm walking, let's say on a sidewalk, I would want to have the same amount of steps in each block. I like even things. I used to hate players who had odd numbers. Of course, Michael Jordan is 23, but I liked a 22, or a 44, or an 18, or a 6, but I didn't like odd numbers. I'm happy to see that people are agreeing with me. Like, I like even numbers. I want things to be even. I want somewhat of a symmetrical alignment with my things. If it's odd, I'm like, I don't like that. Jennifer did that too with the sidewalk and counting. Yeah, I always wanted to have the same amount of steps in each block. And I figured that it's weird to do that, but that's just me. I like to have some type of symmetry. It's just a weird thing that I do in my head, but I like having symmetry. Somebody likes odd numbers. Okay, especially 3. 3 is one of the odd numbers that I'm okay with. It's one of the odd numbers I'm okay with, but I really wanted, even numbers. Had to get right. So you want that symmetry. You just don't want like a tat on one side, because it's like, all right, it feels like a little bit like out of place. But if you have tats on both sides, it's like, okay, we're kind of matching. That's funny. We're kind of matching. 3 reasons as to why somebody with autism and ADHD could feel as if they're inconsistent. All right. Let me type it. You have competing needs. All right. So number 1, you have competing needs. All right. You got a side of you that wants structure, then you have another side of you that wants novelty, and you want to roam and do whatever you want. So this is probably the key struggle with autism and ADHD, which makes this condition more unique than just having ADHD by itself or just having autism by itself. All right. This is something that is important to understand. You really have to understand that you have two people. You got two personalities within yourself. One side of you wants order, and another side of you wants to do what it wants to do when you feel like doing that thing. So this is going to lead to you creating different plans for yourself, and all of a sudden you deviate from the plan. So you start something that you can't see it through. And a lot of times you'll catch yourself spending a lot of time in the planning phase, and you'll confuse planning with execution. So the energy that you should put into the execution of the task, you're putting it into planning, and then you work to get this perfect plan, and you have it all tailored for you. And the plan is like specific to how you want things to be done. So now you got this perfect plan that we're going to do, and it's going to make everything easy for us. And the plan that you make for yourself is not the problem because you plan really well. So this is the autism side helping you out. You're a really good planner, and that's amazing. So the issue comes with the execution, and that's the ADHD side of you. The ADHD side of you is that dog within you that's like, all right, I don't want to do this. I'm not trying to do this at all. I like making the plan, but I don't want to do this plan. And it's my plan that I tell myself that I should do, but I don't want to do it. This is the core issue with autism and ADHD right here. So the generating of the plan is not difficult for you, or I mean it could be, but the hard part, the part that you need to really lock in on, is executing this plan. So in order to make a plan that you actually follow through on, you have to not forget that you have ADHD as well. Okay? So you got the autism, but you also have ADHD. You don't want to forget that. Don't forget that you still have ADHD. That ADHD is the dog within you that wants to do what it wants to do because of how you feel. So if how you feel determines whether you get the thing done or not, you want to put yourself in a state where you feel good. So this is why, I mean, I just came back from the gym. So, I've lifted some weights. I feel good. But this is why I really want to go work out in the morning. I like morning workouts because when I work out in the morning, whatever I do next is so much easier because I feel good. So those of us who have ADHD within us, whether you only have ADHD, which I don't really see people who only have ADHD. If you have ADHD, more than likely you got some anxiety, you got some depression. There's something else going on. It's never just ADHD. ADHD never shows up to the party by itself. Like, oh, I'm ADHD. It's just me. ADHD is not a solo dog. It's a dog that has a lot of friends. Depression, anxiety, a mood disorder of some component. ADHD comes to the party with its friends, with its cousins. A cousin to ADHD is bipolar disorder. A sibling to ADHD is autism. A second cousin to ADHD are the personality disorders from all the childhood trauma that you have. So when you have ADHD, it comes to the party with other things. So there's not many people who only have ADHD. I haven't seen that with my friends. I haven't seen it with my patients. There's always something else. There's always something else. And Sean's saying my wife has to almost piss me off sometimes to get me to do things because my ADHD is fighting, which sucks because hers is the opposite and needs reassurance. Right. And like Sean's saying, ADHD is also its own spectrum. ADHD is its own spectrum. It's its own spectrum. You have different types of ADHD. So ADHD by itself, you can have two Mickey Fickies who have ADHD who act completely different. It's its own spectrum. So ADHD is its own monster that you have to figure out how to deal with its ADHD brain. And it's so stubborn because if somebody tells you to do something and you have ADHD, you won't want to do it. Somebody tells you what to do and it could be the right thing to do. You don't want to do it because they told you to do it. So now you have to find a way to trick yourself into you thinking that it was your idea to do it. It has to be your idea. If it's somebody else's idea, you won't do it. Somebody could say, hey, go here on this road. There's $200 on the intersection of Laurel Canyon and Ventura Boulevard. There's $200 behind the CVS. Go get it. And you're like, no, I don't want to do it because you told me to do it. I don't want to do it. Somebody's trying to give you $200. It's behind the CVS, behind the trash can, the CVS on Laurel Canyon and Ventura Boulevard. If you go there, there's $200 for you, but you won't go there because somebody told you to do it. So you have to figure out how to either make it a last minute thing so you do it, or convince yourself that it was your idea. And if you tell yourself that you have to do it, then you won't do it. So you have to reduce the perceived demand in order to do something with ADHD. And this is why you procrastinate, because you want to feel like it was your idea. So it has to be your idea. If somebody tells you what to do, just tell yourself, okay, this is my idea. I'm going to do it because I want to do it. I want to do it, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it because I want to do this. Because you get angry at kids for not wanting to do things that they don't want to do. And as an adult, you feel like you should have grown out of that. No, you will not grow out of it, because you have to know that it's your idea, okay? It's your idea, and you don't have to do it if you don't want to do it. But we will do it because we can do it. So if you don't talk to yourself like that, you won't do the dang thing, all right? So it's important to understand that. So if you have autism and ADHD, okay, the autism part will help you with order. It's like both of them keep each other in check. Like they're kind of like two siblings. Like one is going to like be a little impulsive and do what they want to do. And that sibling is going to help the orderly sibling have fun. Then the orderly sibling is going to help the other sibling who wants to have a lot of fun. They're going to help them get back on track. So you can use it to your advantage, but you have to know that you have to be in a good state in order to do things. But think about the average person with ADHD. You're not getting a lot of sleep. You're overwhelmed. You're dysregulated. And somebody tells you to do something. So now you're like, I don't want to do it because I just don't want to do it. And you're low on sleep. Someone on TikTok says, I tell people I have two separate operating systems. I run OS and Android. Nah, that's how it is. That's how it is. You have two different operating systems. So you have competing needs. You really need structure, but you really need novelty. So you have to understand that you have two different dogs within you. You have two different dogs within you. You have to understand that. You have to understand that. And Jennifer right here is saying, what if you and your partner have AuDHD? How do you deal with each other telling each other what to do? Look, you have to gamify things. Sometimes if you want your partner to do something, you have to tell them to do the opposite. If you want them to take out the trash, say, hey, babe, I don't know what you're about to do, but don't take out the trash. I'm going to take out the trash. Just kick your feet up and I'm going to take out the trash. You just enjoy yourself. I got it. And then they're like, no, don't tell me what to do. I'm going to take out the trash. You have to find ways to do things backwards. Because if you tell your partner to take out the trash, then they'll feel like, you are their parent. And you tell me what to do? How are you going to tell me what to do? You have to trick them. You have to trick them. You have to trick them. My wife says she's going to do a thing or call her father to ask about a thing. You have to trick your partner to get them to do things. Likewise, you have to trick yourself in order to do things. And when I realized this, I started to be more productive. Or at least I started to work on the right things. If you don't trick yourself, you won't do the thing. You have to trick yourself. You got to trick yourself. Someone says, is this why I create structure, then forget it, such a to-do list? Yes. And sometimes what I'll do is I'll create a very aesthetically pleasing to-do list. I'll put it, into 4 sections. I'll have like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the entertainment company. This is what I'm doing for psychiatry. This is what I'm doing to promote this video. This is what I'm doing right here. I write out the most aesthetically pleasing to-do list. And then when it comes time to doing it, I don't do it. But then the next day, I write that as well. I still don't do it. But I get things done when I make it fun for myself. You have to turn it into a game. Turn it into a game. Give yourself a little reward at the end. I do the hardest task needs to be done somewhere in the middle to early part of the day. But you have to find ways to generate momentum within yourself. What's up, Leilani? How are you? One of our moderators has joined the chat. I'm telling you, 20 journals filled with to-do lists. Right. The issue is not creating a list. You are really good at creating a list. The issue is with the execution of the list. So if you're not able to get the thing done, but you keep doing the same thing every single day, then there's an issue with doing the thing. And you know what's interesting about doing a thing? There is no better feeling than getting things done. Look, I'm somebody who loves, like I love me a good video game I can get lost into. I love money. I love the Mickey Ficky. You know, you get with your girl, you have a great night, y'all go home and get the Mickey Ficky on. I love all that stuff, but nothing beats getting things done. Getting things done is the best feeling of all time. Nothing beats getting things done. When you do a difficult thing that's been on your to-do list for weeks, months, or even longer, like the feeling you have right after, if you can capture that feeling and sell it, you will make so much money. Nothing beats getting things done. There is no better feeling. There's no better feeling than getting things done. I'm addicted to getting things done, but it's so hard for me to get things done. Nothing beats doing. Doing is the action defeats anxiety. If you're anxious and you start to do, you start to feel better. When you're anxious, you can't solve a mental problem up here. You can't outthink your way to a solution to a mental problem. So you have to find ways to start things, to get things done. But what helps you get from point A to point B may not get you from point B to point C. Crack has nothing on productivity. That's hilarious. That's hilarious, Sean. And that's facts. Productivity is the best feeling. It's the best feeling. And I would rather you do anything than to do nothing. Do anything just to get you to get going. But after a while, you do have to shift and you have to find ways to do the things that are the most important to you. Because you're going to get burnt out if you work on things that are not important. Burnout comes from working on things that don't matter. It's not that you're not working hard. You're working hard on the wrong things. So now you don't have energy for the right things. But in the beginning, you have to do. In the beginning, you have to do anything. I don't care what you do. Just do something. Just do something. Anything. Melissa says, as AuDHD, we multitask fun and work. For example, I play matching games as I listen to lectures. This is what I'm talking about. You have to figure out what makes things fun for you. So I'll have these modes where I'm like, all right, I'm about to lock in, I'm about to focus, and I'm gonna like turn off all the music. I'm gonna turn off Sports Center, and I'm gonna get things done. And when I tried to do that, I was miserable, and I didn't get anything done. So what did I do? I reverted back to what works for me. I got through school and I got 3 degrees and a doctorate by studying in the presence of noise. I need a lot of noise. It has to be my noise, but I need noise. So what works for other people, it don't work for me. I need it to be somewhat, not too noisy, but I need to hear the Sports Center commentary in the background while I do my work. I need to hear just a little bit of something that I can listen to, but I'm not paying too much attention to it. Or music, I have to do something. If I don't do something or have something in the background, I can't focus. So something needs to be on in the background to help me focus, and even to help me read sometimes. And it doesn't make any sense, but I need some type of stimuli. So now that I know that, I keep things fun for myself. I have to listen to a podcast about the Titans or some sports radio. Something needs to be on in the background while I work. I have to make the task fun for me. If it's not fun, it's not going to get done. If it's not fun, oh, it rhymes. If it ain't fun, it won't get done. I like that. If it ain't fun, it won't get done. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. If it ain't fun, it won't get done. I like that. You need, I mean, if you have a brain like mine, you need something. You need something to get you to do things. If you don't start the thing, guess what? You'll never complete it. You'll never complete it. So you need things to get done. And a lot of people will listen to this live stream or other people's live streams and they'll get things done. And if right now, if you have things to do, this is a good time to get it done because you have the stimuli coming from this live stream. Now is a good time to do the dishes. Now is a good time to go clean your car. Now is a great time to put away those clothes or put it in a different room so you get it out of your way. Now is the time to get things done right now because you have some type of stimuli that has got you like kind of engaged. You see, like with this live stream, you don't have to pay attention to everything. You can, you can check in and check out. But when you're in class, you have to pay attention to everything. That's why school doesn't work for us as neurodivergent. It don't work for us. A lot of our report cards said things like bright student, but it's a class clown, won't pay attention. The issue was not us. It was in school. The system that we were in was not conducive to helping us with the initiation of task. That's why we don't want to do our homework. So social butterfly, that's what I got. Social butterfly, that's what I got. I was always looking to crack a joke so that the girls would laugh. My crush, her name was Amber. If I was in a class with Amber, shout out to anybody who went to Campbell High School. Amber and her curly hair. If Amber laughed at one of my jokes, I could care less about math class. As long as Amber was laughing, yeah. One of Amber's laughs could carry me a whole week. In fact, I can hear Amber laughing right now, and it's carrying me right now. Man, I need that laugh. All right, and the second one right here depends on our state is often dysregulated. This one right here, I feel this. Shout out to Amber. I think she's married now. And, I see her on Instagram. She's doing well. But shout out to Amber. Second reason why you're inconsistent is somebody with ADHD and autism. Our executive function depends on our state, which is often dysregulated. And Sean, the online accredited colleges, I agree with that. And sometimes online is like a double-edged sword when you think about things online, because it's hard for us to start the task. Kind of like work from home. It can be a trap, but you have to know how to work with it when you're neurodivergent. But yeah, your executive function depends on your state, which is often dysregulated. Don't even think about your friend who has ADHD or autism or something. Think about yourself. Think about yourself right now. How often do you get 8 to 9 hours of sleep? How often do you get to the gym 3 to 5 times a week? How often do you wake up in the morning and meditate? We're going to talk about meditation one of these days. Maybe do a session where I hop on here and we just stay quiet and we meditate for 15 minutes. Seriously, meditation is one of the best things that you can do for any brain, but I think it's a non-negotiable for neurodivergent brains. You have to meditate. You've got to meditate. You need to meditate. And that's the art of doing nothing. But we're addicted to doing something at all times. So it's like we can't do nothing. And someone says, who has time for all that? You got to take 15 minutes out of your day where you sit there and you stare at the wall. If you can wake up in the morning, How many of us wake up in the morning and don't go straight to our phones, but we sit there and we sit with our thoughts for 15 to 20 minutes? Who wakes up right now, makes their bed, and then they meditate for 15 to 20 minutes? Nobody does that. There's 150 people on this live stream right now. I don't know if a single person does that right now. You can be honest, but who does that? I don't do that. I'd like to. I'm working on it, but I don't do that. Sunny on TikTok says that I do that. Okay, we have one person. And Sunny, only you and God know if you're telling the truth. But I wake up and I go straight to my phone. And I don't want to do that. I go straight to my phone. Got a meditation in the shower. Ooh, okay. Sounds good too. My quiet time meditation is in the car. And Janelle, so here's the thing with meditating in the car. You can do it. You can do it, but you have to pay attention while you're driving. So I don't think that counts. I'm talking about when you're like right here. I'm looking at the wall. I'm doing nothing. Like doing nothing. Nothing at all. If you can do that, you would be more regulated, but we're never really regulated. So we're doing things that we don't enjoy doing. We're doing things that we feel like we have to do. We're all over the place. And because we're dysregulated, it makes it hard for us to get things done. So if you have autism and ADHD, you have a lot of inner neurodivergent turmoil. So you absolutely need to be in a state where you're calm before you make certain decisions. Think about it. All of the big decisions you have coming up in your life right now, if you would get 8 hours of sleep and meditate and go to the gym and do your best to eat healthy before you make these decisions, as you make these decisions, you would make better decisions. Guess what? You would save more money. You have more time with loved ones. Things will be better for you. But guess what? It's really hard to do nothing. It's hard to do nothing. So because our nervous system is a wreck, our executive functioning is going to be low. And that is one reason why you are more than likely inconsistent. Shout out to Winter Raven for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Oh, you're usually parked. Okay, all right. If you're in the car and you're parked, all right. Then you can meditate. But still, I will push back on that because in the car, if you're parked somewhere, you still have to exercise spatial awareness. I mean, like you could be in a safe area, but if you're in a car, you gotta look out. Somebody could be behind you. Somebody could be trying to run up on you. You're not in a safe space. But when you're at home, in your room, it's a safer space to meditate. It's just a little safer. That's all. Just a little safer. Can dancing be a form of... So dancing can be a form... No. I mean, dancing can be something that helps bring you back to the present moment, Melissa. So dancing is good, but it's not meditation. Meditation is so difficult. No, medication is so easy. I said medication. Meditation is so easy that it's difficult. It's so easy that it's hard. Because all you have to do is nothing. But our brains want to do complex things. We do better in emergencies, just like Jane said. We do better in emergencies. We do better in chaotic environments. So we're looking for something to do. We need something to do. So that's why doing nothing is very difficult. The art of doing nothing is meditation. Can you do nothing? Can you just sit there and do nothing? You got to pay us to do nothing because we always want to do something. We always want to do something. And the third thing that can lead to us being inconsistent, let me write it here. The all or nothing to burnout cycle. The all or nothing right here. And Shai, you're not hijacking the conversation. I get to the comments that I'm able to get to. Nobody's hijacking. Everybody is accepted over here. I do my best to catch as many comments as possible, even on TikTok, where it's kind of hard sometimes. Carrie says, the first time I successfully meditated, I disappeared. Got visited by an otter. Where were you that an otter was nearby? An otter, that's funny. Where are you that an otter was nearby? The all or nothing to burnout cycle. One of the reasons why we are inconsistent. So the autistic side of you is going to want to over prepare. You're gonna prep the heck out of something. You're gonna prepare and prepare and prepare. You have to be fully prepared for everything. You need to know all the details in advance. You're a master at planning and preparation. Okay, so this right here burns you out. Then the ADHD side of you is liable to hyper focus and hyper fixate on things, and you go balls to the wall on a certain thing. Okay, and it could be the wrong thing too. Many times it is the wrong thing, and that will burn you out. So our need to be all or nothing is one of the reasons why you can be inconsistent. Because if you're all or nothing, you're going to burn out at some point. You will burn out at some point. It may not be now. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. But whenever you burn out, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it. And the repercussions of a burnout are very painful. This burnout could last weeks to months. Sometimes people are burnt out for many months, even years. And this is where people have to take time off of work. People aren't able to hold down a job. You could experience skill regression. So now all of a sudden it's hard for you to talk to people in public or even in small groups. It's hard for you to drive sometimes. It's hard for you to cook. You can't cook like you used to cook because you forgot. How do you forget how to cook? The skill tends to go away because you've burnt yourself out. You've burnt yourself out. So now you have to relearn all these social skills. You have to relearn how to be a functioning member of society, for lack of a better term, because you burnt yourself out. You were working hard on the wrong things and you over prepared for things that were trivial. You'll spend so much time researching a certain thing and never even do it. There's a chance for you to do something halfway, perfectly, but your desire to be perfect with every single thing that you do will make you work very hard on the wrong things, and then you're going to burn out. Someone says relationship burnout is the worst. I have nothing left. You could burn yourself out in relationships. Jesus love. I appreciate you. Thank you for your attention on YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Leslie says, my burnout last year caused me to have an accident. Guys, neurodivergent burnout is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. And it looks like depression. So you go to the doctor. You tell them what's going on. They give you Lexapro or Prozac because they think you're depressed. And you feel a little bit lighter. You feel lighter on your feet. So that's good. You have the medications. That's good. But the core issue of what you've been experiencing hasn't been addressed. So now you're still doing the same things that led to you being burnt out. So this cycle of burnout, I feel good. Burnout, I feel good. It keeps happening. It keeps happening because you haven't addressed the core issue. The core issue is that something is out of alignment with you as a person. Something is not right. The system that you're in is not set up for you to win. You cannot beat a system that is not set up for you to win. You can't win. You're playing a game where you can't win. This is why gambling has become such a big addiction. You can't win when it comes to sports gambling. You get a couple of victories here and there, and a couple of parlays will hit. But if you look at how much money you put in versus what you get out, you can't really win. So if you're playing a game where there's no chance that you can win, how much hope you think you have? You're not going to win. You think that you can outdo a bad system, but you can't. You can't. You have to create a system that forces you to do certain things at a minimum. If the system has not been created, the burnout is coming. The burnout is coming. Patrick, yeah, you don't know the rules. The burnout is coming. It may not come today. It may not come tomorrow, but it's coming. It's coming. Joseph is coming. But that's why you're here. To understand that the system that you're in is not working out for you. A lot of times you can make your system better by removing things. You don't have to add things all the time. A lot of times it's addition by subtraction. If you remove things from the system, things that don't matter as much, you will feel better. The goal is to get lighter on your feet. Right now, ask yourself, what am I doing right now that doesn't move the needle? What am I doing right now that doesn't matter? Someone on TikTok says, is skill regression reversible? Yeah, you can have skill regression, but you can also have skill progression. You can go backwards and forwards. You got to play games that are designed for you to win. And this is why being neurodivergent, you're going to feel as if you're broken or you're faulty or defective. You're going to feel like things won't work out for you or things never work out for you because you're in a system that's not designed for you to win. You have to rig things for yourself. I have to rig things for me. And even then, I still get burnt out every now. I still get burnt out, even though I know these things. So it's always about me constantly tweaking my system. What am I doing that's not useful? What am I not doing that I should be doing that would make me feel better? Maybe I need to have a bit more fun. If you go too long without fun, you'll self-sabotage in an attempt to get dopamine. And that self-sabotage could be substances. It could be another person. It could be cheating. It could be thrill-seeking activities that have a painful consequence. You're doing something that you shouldn't be doing because you weren't having enough fun. Neurodivergents need to have fun. You have to have fun. You can't not have fun. You need to have fun. Someone says vape. The things that you do in an attempt to get dopamine because you were depriving yourself of fun, that's what takes you out the game. Or overeating. That's what takes you out of the game. We have a super chat here, so let me read this question. I've got autism, level 1, high functioning. You touched on it before, but would you say gardening is helpful for autism and or generalized anxiety? Oh, what a question right here. What a question. I've got level 1 autism, very high functioning. You touched on it before, but would you say gardening is helpful for autism and or generalized anxiety? So here's the thing with substances and autism, specifically gardening. All right. So the cannabis is going to help you in the sense that it's going to bring you to the present. It does a couple of things. It brings you to the present. It makes your sensory experiences richer. Okay. So this is why when, you're sky high, you're riding high, you've chain smoked 3 or 4 blunts back to back to back. Now you're flying high. You're high as a kite. All right. This is why music sounds so much better. You can hear all the instrumentation and like you're hearing all the beats, and then all of a sudden you start to rap. And now when you're rapping, you're flowing better than you've ever flowed before. What you're watching on TV becomes so much more enjoyable. We're sensory people. All of us are sensory people. But neurodivergents, we're more in tune with our senses. We're much more sensitive with our senses. If things are a little bit too loud or too bright or is this off, it's gonna throw you off. But now, because of the gardening and the cannabis, you're flying high, music sounds better. The lights that used to be too bright they're shining on you just right. Okay, so when you're having fun and when you're present in the moment, you're not anxious. Okay, it's impossible to be anxious and present at the same time. You cannot be anxious and present at the same time. So that is the advantage of the cannabis for those of us who are on the spectrum, ADHD, neurodivergent. The downside is that over time, there's two sides to this. Over time, you tell yourself that in order to have fun, you got to get high. We all know these people, sometimes it's us, can't eat without getting high first. Can't go out to a party and talk to people without getting high first. Can't sometimes work or clean the house without getting high first. You begin to depend on it. The over-reliance on it starts relatively early. You depend on it. And then this is not even talking about we're not talking about the brain fog and all of the issues that can happen with long-term use. And if you start this at a very young age, you impair your long-term IQ. Your IQ goes down and you increase the risk of psychosis. All right. When your brain is still forming and you become overly reliant on the plant, you increase the risk of psychosis. You got to be very careful. So, cannabis is an excellent short-term anxiety aid for those of us who are neurodivergent. When it comes to short-term things that you can do to help yourself out, I can't think of too many things that are better than the plant. However, long-term, the consequences can really hold you back. They can really hold you back. And what you can get from the plant, you can get the same thing from meditation. It's just harder. Meditation takes 20 minutes and you have to do nothing, which is very difficult for us. The plant, within 5 minutes, you're flying high. Heather's out. I thought you thought real gardening. No, that's a term that we say on TikTok to get around like different things. We just call it gardening. So understand that for short-term anxiety help, I can't think of anything that's better. But I mean, like benzos, yeah, sure. But for long-term, it can lead to a lot of issues. But then again, there are some people who have a long-term relationship with the plant, and they say that they're able to find ways to use it to where it helps them sleep, and like they can get things done, and it's not too negative for them. So for that, I have to respect it. I have to respect that. You got to respect that some people are able to, find ways to not let it over, take their lives. But a lot of people, whether they know or not, have entered a negative cycle with it to where you become overly reliant on it. And now it's hard to do anything with it. It's hard to do anything. Without it. That's what I meant to say. Anything without it. So let's understand that it's always helpful to take a step back and reevaluate your relationship with the plant. Because if you can't take a step back from it, it could be a problem. And the last thing I'll say about this is for those who are 26, 27 and older, or if your brain has fully formed, right? If your prefrontal cortex is finally developed, those people, if they use cannabis every now and then, they don't suffer as much as people who started when they were 11, 12. Like that's when it really holds you back. The earlier you start. Someone says propranolol is great for me. Yeah, beta blockers can be very helpful. Beta blockers can be very, very helpful. I've prescribed beta blockers to many of my patients, and it's made a big difference. Liz, I appreciate you. Thank you, Liz. I appreciate you. Use a plant. Okay. And I understand that. Look, people always say that there's different strains with gardening. I know about that. And look, some people know more about the different strains than me. They're like, oh, you gotta have the OG blueberry kush or something like that. So yeah, the different strains do different things, but it's always good for you to reevaluate your relationship with it and be honest and ask yourself, is it helping you out? Is how, and look, I got friends. I have friends who are in the medical field, friends, nurses, doctors, who, they swear by the plant, and they tell their patients to not use it, but like they swear by it. So it's a personal decision for people. Do we do? Oh, yeah, we do telehealth, but I've brought down my availability in terms of seeing patients as I'm preparing to go on the road for comedy. I don't want to overwhelm myself. Let me see. I went sober after a long time smoking. Best choice ever. All right, and Liz. Okay, Liz, let's go back and forth. Why would you say this was the best choice ever for you? And this is just for you. You smoked for a long time. So why did you go sober? I'm just curious. Why did you go sober, and what did it do for you? Because I had a 2.5, 3 year relationship with the plant, and I had to stop because I wasn't getting up on time. I wasn't doing the things that I needed to do, and I felt like my habits were starting to slip. So for me, that's why I had to take a step back, and also I become fully dependent on it. Sometimes when you when you smoke for so long, you forget how you used to have fun before you started smoking. I legitimately remember there were times where I would ask myself, I'm like, how was I having fun before I used to get high? Like what did I do for fun? Because that becomes your fun. It becomes the way you have fun. Like, how do we have fun anymore? What are we going to do? Kat says, I quit 10 days ago. I have an addictive nature. I'm struggling. Kat, this is one of the hardest things to quit. This is one of the hardest. And I know it's not a hard drug or anything like that. Like, I know, is alcohol more harmful? Yes, but it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. Liz said, for me, I helped me find clarity on my focus, and I smoked so much I started becoming paranoid and insecure. I outgrew the habit. Liz, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. A lot of people have that experience where it leads to paranoia, and you start to question yourself. You start to get into your head, and sometimes you do outgrow it. And it was helpful for you at a certain chapter in your life, and now it's just not. Now it doesn't help. The munchies and eating the whole kitchen up and putting on weight and having a hard time staying in shape because you get sky high and then you go on DoorDash and then you order a $42 burger and then the burger comes and you eat it, but then after the high wears off, you have all this guilt that you paid almost $50 for a burger without fries on DoorDash. Oh, wow. Started at 14, stopped at 33. Wow. Well, congratulations to you. Congrats. It's very hard to stop. Congratulations. I know, but we can train our brains to become stronger and better. Obviously, it's better if we didn't start at such a young age while our brain was forming, but you can train your brain to get stronger and better. And you can do this by, slowing down the, deterioration of our brain cells. That's why it's easier to learn things when you're young because of neuroplasticity. It becomes easier to learn things. Josh says on TikTok, I was just diagnosed with ADHD yesterday. I am 37. Welcome to the family, Josh. And Kat says, I had to quit because the intrusive thoughts were getting bad. Look, guys, sometimes it gets so bad that you have to stop. And it sucks because if that was your way of calming yourself down or having fun, and all of a sudden now the intrusive thoughts and the paranoia and the heart racing, it gets out of hand. Sometimes you have to medically retire. You have to medically retire from the game sometimes. And before I get to super chat, let me just say this with Jim. A lot of people will, microdose or, do it here and there and have tea breaks in between. And this works out for some people. I will say that. It works out. for some people. Let me get to this super chat. Recently fired because of nonverbal cues. Sorry to hear that. I work as a travel RN on a med tele floor. I have ADHD and pretty sure autism. Any advice? Can I get an appointment? All right. So to answer the last part first, when it comes to appointment, the way my practice is set up, we're set up to see people in California, Alaska, Arizona, and Washington. So it's select states when it comes to actual psychiatric services. And we've closed the availability down. Like, I don't know if we have any. I have to ask my assistant, but I'm not even sure if we're accepting new patients as I'm preparing to go on the road and go across America. So I don't think we even have any availability there, to my knowledge. And then on the any advice part, recently fired because of nonverbal cues. I work as a travel RN on the med tele floor. So you have ADHD and pretty sure autism. You have to ask yourself if it means something to you to pursue the autism diagnosis. For a lot of people, they don't want a label. And for some people, they want confirmation. They want to know without a shadow of a doubt that they have autism, and that will make them feel better. And also, depending on if you're in school or if you need accommodations, then having the diagnosis, the formal diagnosis, can be very, very helpful for you. In regards to working, it could be helpful for you if you feel like you're in a supportive environment. It could be helpful to maybe let an employer know that you have autism or ADHD, if you feel that will make a difference. Sometimes it's best not to let your employers know because you could be discriminated against. And I know that we have an act that prevents the discrimination, but I know how employers are. If your employer wants to get you hemmed up, they'll find a way to get you hemmed up. And I mean, it's difficult when you don't understand cues and you communicate differently, and people don't know this, then they could take it as if you're disrespectful, if you don't care, if you're lazy, if you haven't bought into the company policies. So I think that a diagnosis could maybe make you feel a bit better and help you realize that it's not your fault. You're just somebody who needs external support in a way that you don't currently have. So getting that external support is like the gap between where you are right now and where you need to be is the external support that you would need. And that can come in the form of many different things. It can come in the form of you working on a unit where it's more neurodivergent friendly. Maybe the nurse manager there also has ADHD, and she talks about having to take her medications, and she creates an environment where people can be themselves, an environment where you can play to your strengths, or maybe working in the ER. But you have to set yourself up for success, and that will make you feel better. Because if you're using your strengths more, on a daily basis, then you're reminded of how capable you are. And you're a very capable person because you're RN, you pass the NCLEX, you're working on a med tele floor. That's not an easy job. You're a very capable person, but you want to put yourself in positions to where you can win. So that's what I would say. And I appreciate the question and super chat. I appreciate you. Farrah, I appreciate you on TikTok, Farrah. And then someone says, my son really resonates with your AuDHD personality. He's only diagnosed with ADHD. We're seeing that a lot now where people are getting the ADHD diagnosis before the autism. We're seeing that a lot. And the funny thing about this is that autism can be diagnosed younger than ADHD. You can't diagnose a 2-year-old with ADHD. I mean, I guess somebody does that out there, but you shouldn't, because you just cannot diagnose ADHD at 2. You can't. You can diagnose autism at 2, but you can't diagnose ADHD at 2, or 18 months. So because autism can be diagnosed earlier than ADHD, it's ironic how a lot of folks are getting the ADHD diagnosis first. It doesn't ask. It come out every now and then. Because autism can be diagnosed earlier than ADHD. It's ironic that we're seeing the reverse. Jane says, I told my employer, if they treat me badly, I move on. You got to know your worth, girl. I'm in hospice. You got to know your worth, girl. You got to know your worth, girl. Ohio has an at-will firing policy where they can fire for anything they want and don't have to have an excuse. Yeah, a lot of places are like that, which is why, look, it's a personal decision to let your employer know whether, like only you can, decide whether you want to let them know if you have ADHD/autism. Oh, she's in the living room sleeping. Shasti. And neurodivergence is affected by gut health. It is. This is why my folks on the spectrum, my ADHD folks, it's time for a water break. It's been time for a water break. You need to be mindful of what you eat. And exercise, sleep, and hydration are not optional for us. Like, we have to do those things. We have to do those things. And we are extraordinary. We have the magic word in the chat, so now it's time to get some water in. I've been talking for an hour without no water. Make you ficky. Big cheers, y'all. What was Elliot saying? Oh, the process of getting diagnosed with autism. So the most linear path to take is you find somebody on Psychology Today. It's more psychologists than psychiatrists who do this, but you could go to a psychiatrist who does autism evaluations. I'll just say how I would do it if I were doing it. Somebody comes in, we do a psychiatric evaluation. The psychiatric evaluation is, you're looking for all mental health conditions. Most psych evals, they don't even screen for autism. So mine would be a full psychiatric evaluation, including a screening for autism. The majority of people that I screen for autism, and I strongly believe that they have it, almost all of them go on to actually have it. So after you've been screened for autism, then you go for an official assessment. The official assessment could be an hours-long assessment. And after that official assessment, then a couple of weeks later, 1 or 2 weeks later, you would have a third appointment where you would discuss the results with your provider, practitioner, or you can just get the results sent to you if you don't want to have it discussed. But it'd be ideal to at least talk to your provider and get their assessment and everything. Taylor, I appreciate you. You're not losing your mind. You're not losing your mind. You just have to be in a system that works for you. Oh, I tried the heck out of this water, bro. I gotta make sure I don't pee on myself tonight. My late younger brother and I used to line up his cars and stuff playing. I used to do that as a kid too. Stephanie, sorry for your loss. I'm assuming when you say late, they're not there anymore. So sorry for your loss, Stephanie. Jenna, right. If we didn't forget things like eating, drinking, and sleeping, those are key things right there. Christina says, what kind of systems work for us? So the system is going to be dependent on what you need. So I'm somebody who, like Lilani is saying, I didn't drink enough water today. I drank more than yesterday, but I don't drink a lot of water. So what helps me out is having water bottles already laid out the night before. So in my working space, so where I set up, and sometimes it'll be here, it'll be helpful to have all the water bottles set right here. So that way when I wake up in the morning and I start to work, the water is right there. If I have to go looking for the water, I won't drink any water. So I have to make it easy for myself. So the water should be right there. The water should be right there. what I'm going to do tomorrow. I need to figure out what I'm going to do tomorrow today. So you write it out. So that way, when you wake up tomorrow in the morning, there's no decision fatigue. You go straight into doing what you have to do. Because think about how much time you spend thinking about what you need to do. You can spend hours thinking about what you got to do. So if it's already laid out the night before, easy. You have to figure out what works for you. What works for you? What works for you? That's the key. It doesn't have to be what works for anybody else, but what works for you. So somebody says, why is a long distance relationship harder for an ADHDer? Because it's out of sight, out of mind. You might forget that you have a partner. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're going to cheat. You just forget that you have a partner because they're not here. So you might be moving single because you forgot that you have a partner. Out of sight, out of mind. Make the water readily available. Y'all know that I travel a lot. A lot of times when I travel and I have to set my camera up, it becomes hard for me to set the camera up, put it on the tripod and all that stuff. So sometimes I wouldn't go live, or I go live late because the setup takes so long. Things have to be readily available for you. Make it as easy as possible. Easy as possible. How can we make something that is like just awful fun? Can you give yourself a reward for doing the thing that you put off? I love playing NCAA. I love playing my PlayStation 5. I can get lost playing my game, and I think a lot of us neurodivergents, we don't mind spending time by ourselves, especially my autistic folk out here. We don't mind being all by ourselves. We can be with people, but we like our alone time. Our alone time feels so good. If you enjoy your alone time, you have to be careful with going through long stretches of time where you're just by yourself. I can play NCAA for hours on end, days on end. I can just do my thing and not need that much social interaction. So because I love it so much and it's easy to me, I have to pair it with something that is very difficult. It's hard for me to write. I'm a comedian as well, so I have to write. I'm a writer. I've written 2 books, looking to work on the 3rd one. I got to write. But how can you write if you don't enjoy writing? I don't enjoy writing. But now I tell myself that with my writing time, I earn the time to play video games. So if I want to play video games for 4 hours, okay, cool. Write for 4 hours. Now I'm learning that writing for 4 hours and playing video games for 4 hours is not an even exchange. So I'm about to make an adjustment. So now for every hour that I write, I can play video games for 2 hours. I have to switch it up a little bit. For every hour that I write, I've earned 2 hours on the game. When you earn your dopamine, you feel much better. Leilani, I appreciate you. I'm seeing you in the next stream. When you earn your dopamine, you feel much better. You feel a lot better, right? So you want to earn your dopamine. If I write for an hour, I get paid for 2. It was one, but as I think about it, I need to make it a bit more fun for myself. Make things fun for yourself. So your system is not anybody else's system, but it has to be your system. What works for you? What works for you? So learning yourself is something that you should be on your journey to do. Learn yourself. What do you like? What don't you like? And be very honest with that. What do you like? What don't you like? If you don't like something, don't do it. If you enjoy something, you're not doing it enough. How can we do it just a little bit more? How can we find just a little bit more time to do this one thing that we really enjoy doing? So you got to find a way. You got to find a way to make life a little bit more fun. Candace, yeah, I'm a Titans fan. I'm a Titans fan. And I'm happy you've embraced being neurospicy. We're neurospicy. You know, pretend as if we're normal is just too much. Too much. And Ankle says, oh, what a name. ANCLE, Ankle. on TikTok says, when I develop a system like that, I guilt myself into not rewarding myself. Ankle, no. Ankle, you can't do that. Ankle, you can't do that. If you tell yourself that you have a system that you need to do to earn something, if you've earned your dopamine, you better take it. If you've earned your dopamine, you better take it. You have to take it because you earned it. You earned it. You earned your dopamine. So you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And that's why the thing that you do as reward, it has to be something that you really enjoy doing. Something that you can do very easily. Earn your dopamine. You got it. Earn your dopamine. And Jana on TikTok says, I also motivate myself with incentives, even if it's tricking myself, i.e., organizing, cleaning. Yeah, you gotta find ways to do it. What's up, Darnell? What's up, Dino? What's up, Bryce? I love space, but recently I've been not going to put image because my mind tells me I'm going to fail. Hey, look, your mind is a very interesting thing. You got to tell yourself, sometimes you have to tell your mind, your brain to shut up. Our brains are very silly. This thing in our head, silly, pieces of matter that will deceive us into thinking that we're not worthy, or, they'll tell us some weird things sometimes. You have to tell your brain to shut up sometimes, respectfully. Where's my accent from? I'm Mickey Ficky. It's from being all over the place, from being raised in the South, but also growing up in Norway for the first, 5.5, 6 years of my life for the most part. So it's my accent, I guess, would be, a combination of being in all those different places, respectively. Norway, Nashville, Tennessee, Georgia. It was a combination of everything. Super, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I see you on. I see your comment on TikTok. Alma says, my son has a hard time making true friends. He's only 9. Look, making true friends is hard for all of us. But obviously, having a child on the spectrum, that's a pretty unique struggle. The good thing is, if you have one friend, man, one true friend is priceless. You can't put a price tag on one true friend. So you just need one to get you in the game. Just need one to get you in the game. Let me see what Chantel's comment is here. Night, and we are just about to wrap it up here. We'd like to leave 2 things here. Learn the NA that would resonate with my fellow neurodivergent folks. 1 is too many, 1,000 is never enough. And the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today. I like that. I like that. Chantel, thank you very much. Thank you for dropping that in the chat. I like that. I really like that. And Melissa, this is why this, environment is helpful, because you feel less bad about yourself when you know that you're peculiar and other people are also peculiar. But if you feel like you're the only weird person, then you're like, damn, am I the only one? I can't be the only one. There gotta be other people. I can't be the only one. And when there's other people like you out there, then you realize that it's not something with just you. It's, it's a brain that you have that other people have very similar traits. Congratulations, Gene. Congrats. I'm finally balancing at 37. What now makes me adult? Congratulations. Congratulations. I'm happy that you have this deeper knowledge of yourself and you've put yourself in a better position to succeed. So that's the advantage that you get when you have a diagnosis, which is just a group of words or a word that better explains the majority of the symptoms that you exhibit. So there you go on that. Any advice for psych nurses? Listen to your patients and have fun. And if you work at a psych hospital, you can use some of those skills in real life because you're somebody who knows how to deal with multiple things at once. And you know how to prioritize too. Darnell, I will say thanks for all your posts. I got diagnosed with ADHD 5 years ago, but your videos helped me understand that I also have autism, and it's helped me so much in the long run. Darnell, I appreciate you too, my guy. I appreciate you. Understand that you have something. Guys, when you know yourself, it's pretty difficult to get tripped up. I mean, things will still happen, but if you know yourself, you put yourself in positions to win. And we want to win out here. So you want to win. And Carrie, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Yeah, we are getting to the 90-minute mark. So we're about to wrap it up for this live stream. Let me see where we're at. We are at a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday. So we're at Tuesday. Look at my schedule. So we stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we streamed yesterday too, which was cool. I liked having that extra streaming yesterday. That was hella tight. That was dope. So we stream Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let me see what my schedule was like. Oh, Brian Dayball, offensive coordinator in Tennessee. Very exciting. Go Titans. All right. So we will go live. Shoot, we'll run back again tomorrow. Let's go ahead and run it back tomorrow. Let me let John know. Thank you, John. And also, I'm ending tonight's live stream, but we're on a roll. So we'll go live again tomorrow in addition to Thursday. So I just want to put that out there and just give you a heads up. Thank you. So we'll go live again tomorrow. What time? We will go live 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock California time, West Coast time, 9 o'clock East Coast time. So 9 o'clock in New York City, 8 p.m. in Nashville, Tennessee, 7 o'clock in Phoenix, Arizona, 6 o'clock in Los Angeles, California, 5 o'clock in Anchorage, Alaska, 4 o'clock in Honolulu, Hawaii. And yeah, Urban, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm not near Brentwood, Tennessee, but I have a lot of family in Nashville, Brentwood, Antioch, Cool Springs, that whole area. And I would love to know more about the Hope Academy. And even though I don't live in Nashville, I'd love to know more about the autistic community in Tennessee, with Nashville being my home. So yeah, I gotta learn more. So I'm see y'all tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock West Coast time. I'm not sure what time it is GMT, but it's 9 o'clock New York time. So until the next stream, take care. Bunny, good to see you. Y'all be easy.